Wine and Crime contains graphic and explicit content which may not be suitable for some listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
You are listening to Wine and Crime, the podcast where three friends chug wine, chat true crime, and unleash their worst Minnesotan accents.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know the drill.
You know what we do here.
You know. It's in the name.
How are
It's
they
right-
going to know? They'll never know.
They're gonna know. How would they know?
I'm Kenyon, and I'm burping.
Oh.
I'm Lucy, and I'm incapable of burping.
Yeah, she murps.
I need the surgery.
I'm Amanda.
You burp freely.
Yes.
You burp enough for the two of you.
Yeah. I burp a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You really
burper.
like to shove it down for a second so it just erupts.
I
Like,
don't.
It's like how I scream when I
intentionally
sneeze. That's
do
you with your
that.
burps.
Yeah, it just happens.
Yeah, you're a scream burper. You're a
Uh-huh.
scrurper.
Yeah, they come from my toes.
Yeah.
Oh, those
Heavy
heavy
duty.
toes.
Diabetic reflux for you.
There you go.
Anyway,
Anyway,
now that
Anyway.
you're informed of that.
We have a very special fan pick this week brought to you by Dally Hewitt.
Ugh.
Dally, I think I'm saying that right. I don't know. D. Hewitt
yeah, sure.
has selected the topic of prison crimes,
Yeah.
which is a wide topic.
A lot of stuff goes on behind those bars.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And
We'll
trying
get
to
to it, I'm
escape
sure.
those bars.
Why
Oh,
not?
yeah.
And Dally wants to dedicate their episode to their dad for his 72nd birthday.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
Which was back in January. But
That's okay.
Happy almost 73rd birthday.
Yeah, it's your half birthday.
Yeah. Everyone knows the 72 and a half birthday is
It's
a
a big
big
one.
milestone.
it's the big
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, it's the diamond birthday.
It's the platinum jubilee.
Yeah.
Ew, Jubilee.
Ish.
So this is a quote from Dally. Quote, "He is the best dad you could ask for. He is a lawyer and has represented the prisons in Georgia and has also been on the other side representing murderers.
Wow.
Let's say alleged
Alleged
murderers.
Yeah.
He wrote a book, Killing the Blood Cleaner,
Whoa.
It sounds really good. I'm
Yeah.
gonna Google it.
by Davis Hewitt. So
Wow.
it's Davis. Happy 72nd and a half birthday, Davis. It is on Amazon and Kindle, little plug. He wrote this book for fun. And my sister and I wanted to show support for his dreams because he's always supported us in ours.
That
Oh,
is
that's
so
so cute.
fucking cute.
So
I'm
I
looking
found the book, but
Yeah.
also the first thing that pops up are blood cleanup chemicals.
Yeah. Oh, yes. That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
And services, maybe?
Yep.
Killing
Companies?
the Blood Cleaner.
Iowa's
is it
#1
fiction?
cleaning company. Looks like it, yeah.
Oh, it's
That's so fun.
fiction.
Wrote it for
Okay.
fun. Wrote it for fun.
Ooh, sensuous women
Ooh.
is in the
Oh.
description.
All
Uh-oh.
right.
All right. Well, this might
Well-
be my beach read.
Yep. Definitely. Take it to the shore.
God bless it.
Well, I'm excited. What's our wine crime pairing for prison crimes?
Okay. Well, I think I'm hallucinating. So
Mhm.
this is not new. I swear to God, I ordered this. I put it
This
in
is
my
the
cart.
top of every pairing.
I know.
Maybe the pairing should be separate from what we're drinking.
I mean, I can pair and I can drink. But then I went and looked and I had 2 unopened Winc boxes and it's mysteriously not there. So I don't know what I did, but I paired this with the 2021 Atavist Merlot because the wine label looks like bars, kind of.
Oh.
And recidivism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. Yeah. That's making that work.
Yep.
And
I'm here for you.
yes, and it's a beautiful Merlot from our friends over at Winc Wine Club. And if you have not checked out Winc Wine Club, you should go to trywinc.com/gals for $20 off your first order. And if you become a member, which I highly recommend, you can get this bottle for $13.99 when it regularly is $15.99. So those dollars add up.
They do. And that's a great price for a great bottle.
Oh, yeah. It's a great price. This is a medium-bodied Merlot. It finishes nice and dry. She packs a punch at 14.9% ABV.
Wow.
You're going to get some tasting notes of cherry and cranberry, and then it's going to mellow into more of like a plum, herbaceous tomato finish.
Yum.
I love just a classic Merlot.
Yeah, that velvety mouthfeel.
Just so simple.
Yeah, and this is an Australian Merlot,
Oh.
mate.
Which started as a prison colony.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
So since I don't actually have it, I did forget a bottle of rosé in my freezer, and now I have a rosé slushy
A frosé.
situation
Ooh, nice.
that I'm gonna sip on. So while the regular pairing is a pop, and this is already open, I'm gonna do a brief crack. Here we go. You won't hear shit.
Oh.
Okay. All
Nice crack.
right.
Nice pound, whatever that was.
Oh my god, it's so thick and icy.
That actually sounds incredible.
It
sounds
in
really
in your
good.
Papa Smurf glass.
It looks really good. Yeah, it's the party punch glass.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
Well,
cheers,
well
everyone.
done.
I'm
Cheers.
just doing my best.
Cheers.
Hallucinating what I ordered.
I'm drinking my classic Coca-Cola in a tiny Ham's glass.
Mm.
Oh my god.
Shout out to my mom.
Fucking frosé all day, people.
All right. Well,
This is the move.
Lucy, what is our background and maybe psych for prison crimes?
Oh, I'm going to use my
New
These-
bones.
goat teeth.
Oh,
These are
they're not
goat
bones.
teeth.
I learned that.
They are not. So these are goat teeth, and they are also from Den of Dermisted. So
Yes.
thanks again, Lindsay, for sending me more creepy shit to shake.
Give 'em a
Love it.
Oh, very sharp.
It's a beautiful
got a
little
sh-
tinkle.
It's got a sharp tone to it. Yeah. Yeah.
Goat teeth, baby.
Really nice. Really nice stuff.
Really good stuff.
Really good batch. Great batch.
Okay, so I have some stats from the Federal Bureau of Prisons.
Okay.
And like all facts about prisons, they're kind of horrifying.
Yep.
So, first, 93.3% of federal prisoners, I would say identify as male, but it's up to the prisons to identify for you and just plug
Right.
you
Yep,
in,
people
which
don't
is
have
really
a ton
scary.
of control.
Yep.
Always great when the government gets to choose your gender.
Isn't that convenient?
As
Yeah.
we scale back laws about hate crimes and sexual assault and, I don't know, availability of birth control.
And.
Yep.
We're fine.
We're fine. It's great. 6.7% are classified as female. 57.7% of federal prison inmates are white. 38.3% are black. 2.5% are Native American. 1.4% are Asian American.
Which
And-
is super out of whack for actual demographics in this country.
Yeah. Yeah. This next set of data is pretty eye-opening and, like I said, really gross. So in terms of offenses, like types of offenses that people are incarcerated for, 44.9% of inmates are incarcerated for drug offenses.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot. 21.3% are there for weapons, explosives, or arson charges. 11.6% are for sex offenses. 4.9% for immigration.
Oh my fucking God.
And then another 4.9% for burglary, larceny, and other property offenses.
Can we go back to the demographics one? Are Hispanic people classified as white in this?
I think
Which
so.
obviously there can be there you can be biracial. Like this is super.
There was a separate chart for Hispanic or non-Hispanic. And there were definitely more non-Hispanic, but there was a lot of people who identify as Hispanic.
So that's where they're getting.
I think that's where
Reclassified.
white, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then in order, so like going down this list of offenses from most popular to least, after the burglary, larceny, and property offenses, we have extortion, bribery, or fraud, homicide, aggravated assault, and kidnapping offenses, then robbery, then miscellaneous,
Miscellaneous.
then courts or corrections. So I think people who fucked up on probation or something like that.
Okay.
Then continuing criminal enterprise, then banking and insurance, counterfeit and embezzlement. And finally, the last category is national security, which doesn't even qualify as a percentage. There are just 35 individuals
that are imprisoned due to crimes related to national security.
In federal prison.
Like
right.
terrorism.
Huh.
I have a feeling this is like Guantanamo Bay.
Right. Or like,
well, I don't know if that I don't know if that counts as federal or if that's military. I don't know where that lands.
I guess I
don't know either.
We'll kind of get to the other types of incarceration places.
Okay.
Yeah, Guantanamo's a military prison, so that is separate.
Mm-hmm.
And they have roughly, well, I don't know how many are currently there, but in total, since it opened, roughly 780 people have been detained there. But that's separate from what we're talking about.
Okay.
Got it.
Yeah, it must be. The largest percentage of inmates are held in low security prisons. That's about 36%. Only 14.2% of incarcerated people are in minimum security and 12.6% are in high security.
Mm-hmm.
I would have thought more people would be in high security.
Yeah. Maybe
But-
it's just very expensive.
Yeah. I mean, where are they going to put Martha Stewart's?
You can't overcrowd a maximum security prison like you can a low security prison
That's very true. Very true.
for profit.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to the profit. Only 2.6% of prisoners have a life sentence, with the largest percentage of incarcerated individuals serving between 5 and 10 years. And that percentage is about 26.2%. So, like I reiterated, these stats are only for federal prison inmates, but they give us a pretty good picture of what the rest of the incarcerated population looks like. And then the drug stat I gave, that 44.6%, isn't quite as severe when we're looking at all incarcerated individuals, because another stat that I found says that 1 in 5 incarcerated people is locked up for a drug offense. But then again, that's hard to categorize, because if you get stopped for, stealing a car and you have a bag of weed in the car.
Well, it could be because a lot of the drug trafficking offenses are inherently federal because it's going across state lines
yeah.
or international borders.
Mm-hmm.
They would be more in federal prisons than in state prisons. You know what I mean?
But
Whereas
that's also tricky.
burglary would be more likely to be in a state prison if it's not like super violent, I think. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but
there is a whole lot of crossover from federal prisons to other types of prisons, which I'll kind of get to. So we think we have these like solid numbers and these solid categories and statistics, but really not. It's
super don't.
It's a jungle of confusion. Like it's wild, which again, I'll kind of get to. But yeah, that 1 in 5 incarcerated people also means around 374,000 individuals are incarcerated for drug offenses on any given day.
damn.
That's a lot of people. So this is according to prisonpolicy.org, quote, "The U.S. doesn't have one criminal justice system. Instead, we have thousands of federal, state, local, and tribal systems. Together, these systems hold almost 2 million people in 1,566 state prisons, 102 federal prisons, 2,850 local jails, 1,510 juvenile correctional facilities, 186 immigration detention facilities, and 82 Indian country jails, their words, not mine, as well as in military prisons, like we were talking about, civil commitment centers, state psychiatric hospitals, which apparently are categorized as
All right, because
prisons.
you do not have like the
right
autonomy
to
to
leave.
leave. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a penitentiary.
Yep. And then also prisons in U.S. territories. So all of these things across the board, it's a lot. It's a fucking lot. Federal prisons and jails hold about 208,000 people, while state prisons hold about 1,042,000. Local jails hold about 547,000. And then we have the smaller institutions like the military jails, the psychiatric hospitals, things like that.
Dang.
It's a lot of incarcerated people in
Yeah.
a lot of different categories.
And it's a lot per capita for
Yeah, we have like the highest rate of incarceration per capita in the world.
except
Oh,
for
yes. By a long shot.
By a lot. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Land of the free.
Yes. If you can afford a good lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
A bit about jail versus prison. So prisons are facilities under state or federal control where people who have been convicted, which are usually convicted of felonies, go to serve their sentences. So like you were talking about, federal jail means it's a federal crime.
Mm-hmm.
That's not always the case.
Okay.
So like theoretically, yeah, and that's what makes sense, but it's not.
Okay.
It's not always.
Mm-hmm.
Jails are city or county-run facilities where a majority of people locked up there are awaiting trial. In other words, they are still legally innocent because many people can't afford
make
to
bail.
post their bail.
Yeah. Monetary bail is so fucking crazy. Makes no fucking sense.
To make things a little bit more complicated, some people do serve their sentences in local jails either because their sentences are short or because the jail is renting space to the state or federal prison system.
Yep, it's too full to put you in the big house, and you're not that bad, so you can
Yeah.
serve.
Just chill out here.
Yeah.
But at
in
the same
county.
time, we're not going to let out people that have super minor misdemeanor offenses because they can't post bail because they are unhoused.
Anyone want to take a guess as to the median bail amount for felonies?
Oh, it's got to be like $150,000.
Well, bail. Wait, is this bond or bail? What's the difference?
I think they're kind of the same.
Bond is like 10% of your total bail.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, like you have to post bond, but you're liable for
So
the
to
total
pay off the
bail
bail.
amount if you don't show up.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, I have no idea. For
Well-
for felonies, I have no idea.
Are you asking
for
about full
felonies.
bail, or are you asking about bond? The 10%.
This says bail amount. So that must be the total amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm gonna keep my guess.
I don't know
150K.
because I just saw it in your notes, so I can't guess.
Right. I'm not looking at your notes.
Well, it's $10,000, which
I was
represents
way off.
this represents 8 months' income for the typical person detained because they can't pay bail.
That's completely absurd.
That is so fucked up.
It's so fucked
It's
up.
just sorry, I dropped something. 1 second.
I'm gonna Google bail versus bond.
I think we nailed it, but somebody out there is screaming.
Someone is always screaming.
I think that it doesn't make any sense because rich people just have no consequences and poor people have no way
All
out.
of them. Yeah. All
Yeah.
of the consequences.
If we wanted to do it as like a proportion of someone's assets, maybe like if you want, like if it was like, okay, well, if you own this property, then this property is now temporarily under, you know, it is being held in some sort of like bond situation. And then if you don't show up, then you forfeit your property. That could work. But
the
then
vast amount of people that are in jails and prisons don't
have
even
property.
own property. Yeah.
Right. So then you need a different solution for those people, but the just cash amount makes no fucking sense.
And it seems like kind of arbitrary.
It's super subjective. Just
Yeah.
the judge gets to decide how much your bail is.
Like $10,000 can be just as insurmountable to someone as
$1 million.
$1,000,000.
Absolutely.
Or vice versa. It could be absolutely meaningless. If Elon Musk wants to fucking start committing open felonies, well, he doesn't care about $1 million. He doesn't care about $10 million.
No.
So the bond is the smaller amount. So there are 4 types of bonds. It says these are technically 4 types of bonds that are considered secured or unsecured. So the first is being released on your own recognizance, and this simply means the court releases you under the assumption that you will return to your trial when you have to. The second is a cash bond or payment made in cash, also referred to as bail. Oh, it's the same thing. Bail is a payment made to the court in cash. The third, like Kenyon says, is a property bond. A property bond is when you offer the title to your own property as the form of insurance that guarantees you'll return to court when you should. In the event that you don't return to court or you don't agree to the written agreement you signed with the courts, your property becomes forfeited to the government.
Right.
And then the fourth is a surety bond, and this is what is commonly referred to as bond. This is when a third party agrees to the responsibility of your obligation and your debt. So that's a bail bonds person,
Right.
or agency.
It
so
could
then
be, or it could be a friend or family member who posts that, like if it's $100,000, say that and you don't personally have it, but your parents do.
Yes,
They can post it on your behalf.
I think when it comes to bail bondsmanship services, that's where the percentage comes in. They'll post your whole $10,000 bail, but you have to pay a certain percentage.
And there's like interest.
Yep. It's like a loan.
It's like a loan.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
With way bigger consequences.
It's just so the whole system is so absolutely bonkers.
Well, it's meant to bury you in debt and just keep you from ever being able to recover from.
It just doesn't make any. It's super archaic.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. It's fucked up.
Yeah. So anyway, there are a ton of crimes that one can commit while in prison/jail, including murder, assault, weapons charges, drug crimes, sexual assault, and theft. Sometimes crimes are punished by filing new criminal charges against the inmate, resulting in an entirely new separate trial, like if they murdered someone.
In prison, yeah.
And other times, punishment is carried out within the system. So, for example, officials might give someone time in solitary confinement. They could remove your accumulated good behavior time. You could be transferred to a less desirable prison job. They could confiscate your personal items, or they could transfer you to another higher security prison.
Or just make your life a living hell.
Right.
Well, as I was about to get to, relatively minor infractions result in what they call shots. So a shot is a mark against the prisoner placed in their prison file. When the prisoner comes up for parole or requests permission for some kind of additional privilege, such as a better prison job or a work release program, then they take into account the number of shots on that person's record. So it's like green slips.
Yeah.
Also, guards can discipline inmates off the record. So,
and do.
Oh, yes, of course. So that could be like tossing an inmate's cell just for funsies.
Just to be
And then
dicks.
if they find some contraband, then they'll
plant
be
it.
like
Plant it. Yep.
crazy amount of punishment.
Yep. Solitary confinement, all kinds of fucked up shit.
They are also fully allowed to use physical force against inmates who defy a direct order. And apparently it is not uncommon for guards to, for example, fire shotguns at prisoners whenever they just see a hubbub, commotion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Who's going to do anything about that?
Right.
Or just holding down and kicking and beating and, or like looking the other way if another inmate has an issue with you.
We'll kind of get to that.
You can imagine. Also, if you've ever seen a single episode of Oz.
If you've seen a single film about prison.
Shawshank Redemption, fabulous cinematic masterpiece.
I was just listening to some investigative podcast and now I can't remember the name of it, but it was whatever. And they were talking about these prison guards who would just like falsify allegations. So like there was a prisoner who like tossed water on a prison guard and the prison guard lied and said that it was like a biological liquid, like it was urine or something else. And so they made like this big like hullabaloo about it and, said that like they could have gotten ill or could have, gotten like HIV or something from like this person's bodily fluids. And it was like, I literally tossed water at you because you were being a dick.
Yep.
Yeah. You really don't have many rights when you're on the other side. Yep.
Ugh.
I didn't even want to get into like the food they serve or the health care they provide. Pregnant women in prison.
Access to healthcare can be withheld as a punishment.
Yep.
100%. Yeah.
Prisoners die from that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Diabetic prisoners are like That would be so fucking scary. I mean, it would all be fucking scary. It's horrific. And that's a horrible fucking way to die.
Ugh, I can't imagine.
Just not having adequate insulin. Like, you just basically
Starve
feel
to death.
ill and, like, slowly rot away. It's fucked up.
Necrotize.
Pretty much.
So just one more thing that I wanted to bring up. We talk frequently about privatized prisons and how they are largely responsible for mass incarceration, but actually less than 8% of all incarcerated people are held in private prisons. The vast majority are in publicly owned prisons and jails. So this is another quote from Prison Policy, but I thought it was interesting because we do like to lump this whole issue on privatized prisons, but it's just the privatization of different aspects of all prisons.
Right. It's like the publicly owned prisons will still contract out a lot of the work that's
Labor
inside the
and-
prison. And that can cause all kinds of problems and also jack up the cost of
I'm about to
incarcerating
tell you
people.
all about that.
Okay.
So a range of private industries and even some public agencies continue to profit from mass incarceration. Many city and county jails rent space to other agencies, like I said before, including state prison systems, the U.S. Marshals Service, and ICE. Private companies are frequently granted contracts to operate prison food and health services that are often so bad they've resulted in major lawsuits. And prison and jail telecom and commissary functions have spawned multi-billion-dollar private industries.
So fucked up. Fucked up.
By privatizing services like phone calls, medical care, and commissary, prisons and jails are unloading the cost of incarceration onto incarcerated people and their families, trimming their budgets at an unconscionable social cost.
Yeah. Imagine being a shareholder and making money off of people's misery.
It's fucked up. That's really fucked up.
Check your retirement, check your 401k, see what you're actually invested in, people,
Yeah.
because it's disgusting and you don't want to be profiting off of this.
On some level, I would argue that most corporations profit off of somebody's misery.
Well, right.
Yes,
Yes,
but
but
if-
this is too
if you-
on the nose.
If you can directly track where your investments are, even ones that like you're not thinking about necessarily and you kind of set it and forget it, like look into it because you don't want to be a part of this.
It's so ubiquitous too. Like it's fucking everywhere. The entire
also
system
just-
is so fucked up.
It's just insane. Any kind of major public policy issue, when you privatize it, it just gets worse. Costs go up. Corruption goes up. The like clients or the end users experience gets exponentially worse. Like the only people that benefit are the anonymous
top tier,
shareholders.
yeah.
Yep.
It's just wrong.
So take responsibility and do some research because it's fucked. And that's my segment.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Real uplifting episode here.
We're off to a really good start, you guys.
Well,
I'm so excited.
My case might be a little up. It will be uplifting,
Oh.
and we will get to it.
Alaska?
No,
Oh,
but you'll get it. You'll get it soon enough.
the balloon
Will
house?
I?
The
And it's a
balloon
funny
house.
joke, but you don't get it yet. Okay, so let's hear a word from our sponsors.
Michigan.
Hey.
If you've listened to this show for even 5 minutes, then you know that we are completely and utterly obsessed with Rothy's. And
We're
that is-
Rothy's proselytizers.
We really are. And that is because my Rothy's, I have a bunch of different point Rothy's. I have the sneakers. I have a million different kinds. But literally every single time I wear my Rothy's out and about, I get a compliment. 100% of the time,
Every time.
people notice. And that is because they have tons of iconic head-turning designs in bright but also sophisticated colors. They have patterns that kind of change up depending on the season. There's something for everybody, and they're super duper comfortable.
They are the most comfortable shoes I own. I have like really weird feet. I feel like every time I love flats, but every time I get a new pair of flats, I always find like a spot where it's gonna rub. And it is just the worst when you find the cutest pair of shoes and then they're just not comfortable to wear. And I am telling you right now, I have never been rubbed the wrong way by a Rothy's shoe.
I know.
The second you put them on, they're perfect.
They're amazing. I have sensitive feet, and they have never given me a blister.
Ever. I love it. And so this is actually very funny. We obviously were just doing some live shows, and I brought heels. And every time we were getting ready to get dressed, I was like, I'm not going to wear this. And I just wore my Rothy's.
I mean,
They're perfect with every outfit. I wore them. I have these really cute, like the pink Mary Janes. I wore them with that gold sequin dress. Like that is a fancy dress. And the Rothy's were perfect with that. I bring them to weddings. I wear them just out to the store. They literally fit every occasion. They are so comfortable. They have no breaking in period. And we can't talk about Rothy's without talking about the best part about Rothy's. They are machine washable.
it's the best for those of you like me who have stinky feet.
So stinky. I'm so stinky, you guys. I wash them like once a week. It keeps them looking brand new.
These are the only flats or like shoes that you can wear without socks that I have ever been able to keep for more than a year. I've
Yup.
had my Rothy's for like 3 or 4 years. They still look
At
brand
least.
new.
Yeah, they're incredible. So what are you waiting for?
So your new favorite shoes are waiting. Discover the versatile styles you can wear absolutely anywhere and get $20 off your first purchase at rothys.com/gals. That's rothys.com/GALS for $20 off your first order and treat your feet.
Treat them.
Are we ready for my uplifting case?
I don't know.
You're going to beat this mystery joke to death before we
Yeah.
even get to it.
Yeah.
This is her time. You've certainly beaten us to death with plenty of your
Bad
mystery jokes.
Oh, I have time to think of a new one.
No.
No, I don't think you do.
Okay.
You're out of
So
time.
we are going across the pond to my hometown of France.
Wow.
Your hometown of France.
France.
Oh my
Love
God.
it. Love it. Okay.
So in the early months of 1986, 34-year-old Michel Vaujour had just begun serving an 18-year prison sentence in La Santé prison on the left bank of Paris, located just a few blocks from the tourist attraction of the Luxembourg Gardens.
Nice.
He had been arrested for armed robbery and attempted murder after a bank robbery went awry.
Wait, you guys. I just Googled prison jokes.
Oh, no.
And the first one I clicked on is from upjoke.com. Up.
Is it uplifting?
I haven't read it yet. I just saw the URL.
I hate this.
I'm moving on. Okay, so Michelle's career was basically as a bank robber. Okay.
My joke. Okay.
So this bank robbery went awry and it resulted in the shooting of a police officer. So he's going away for 18 years. Michel was arrested and sentenced alongside several accomplices, but Vaujour soon distinguished himself by his extreme commitment to escaping prison.
Fun.
Okay.
In
It's
the
good to have a hobby. Keep you busy.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. In the first few months of his sentence, he made 4 failed attempts at escape.
First few months.
If at first you don't escape,
Try.
try again.
One of which involved making a copy of his cell key by
Love.
imprinting it into a Baby Bell cheese
Yes.
red wax mold.
Cool.
Yes. This is brilliant. This is
Brilliant.
How did that not work?
Absolutely brilliant.
And the most French thing of all time.
Yes, very French. How do you get a copy of the key in the first place?
But he had to get the actual key. I don't know how he fucking did that. And then he saved his Baby Bell cheese
God,
wax
Yes.
containers
I
Good
love
job.
that.
and like heated them with his hands or his ass.
Honestly, no notes. This is fucking Shawshank
Genius.
level genius shit.
Right?
I'm ready. I'm ready for this.
That's how I would have escaped the border crossing Kenyan when you and I almost got arrested.
Yeah.
Pressing a
You
baby
probably
bell
had
into your
60
palm.
Baby Bells hidden in your bag along
It
with
was a big
all the
bag.
other random shit in there.
That's illegal cheese. You're a
What?
cheese smuggler.
Oh, yeah.
He's not supposed to smuggle
shit.
dairy.
Ooh. I accidentally
Listen, y'all.
smuggled a meat stick back from Vancouver.
Oh, I don't think they care about that.
Yeah, it was like beef jerky or something.
Like
or a
from
Slim
the
Jim.
airport.
It was delicious.
A Canadian Slim Jim.
A red hot.
Okay, even though this failed, this brilliant Baby Bell escape,
I'm
Michelle...
obsessed with the Baby Bell escape.
know.
I love it so much.
Michel wasn't done working with wax for his escape attempts. He later tried taking a hostage by using a fake gun that he'd molded out of black wax and soap.
Cool.
Honey, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, honey.
I love his artistry.
I know.
Seriously, an artiste.
Yep. When asked why he was so desperate to escape the confines of prison, he claimed that he was motivated by his deep love for his wife, Nadine, whom he could not imagine spending 4 years apart from.
And also, like,
18
it sucks
years.
here.
I know.
so-
The timeline gets a little complicated. I didn't go into his... the timeline is a little bit messed up, but we don't have time to... It's like... He got in trouble for various things. He had short prison stints and he would attempt to escape and blah, blah, blah. And then the bank robbery and then the 18 years. So I don't know what happened when. We're rolling with it.
Okay.
That's fine. That's perfect.
Okay. So Nadine apparently felt the same way because during a visit to her husband in March of 86, she slipped him a clandestine note
Yes, it's
That-
so romantic.
that contained the specific date and time that she would help him get free.
Oh my God.
May 28th at 10 a.m.
Love story for the ages, but also that's a little early. Could we push it back to 11:30?
11? Yeah.
It's like he's getting a great night's sleep
Mornings
anyway.
aren't great for me.
Yeah, mornings are all my meetings
I
start
take
early in the
all
mornings.
my meetings in the morning, so it
Yeah.
really has to be like after 2 p.m.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I got
I've
up
been
at
in meetings
3 p.m. today.
I have been in meetings
Yeah.
since
7 dawn.
until about 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really busy.
So this date was the day after Nadine was set to receive her private pilot's license,
Oh, your mom.
Good for her.
a process that took just 3 months.
It's a quick one.
Do I want to be a pilot? Emma
Probably.
said pirate.
You
Pirate?
do not have the vision. No one would allow you to fly a damn
I have
thing.
glasses.
You know what? I would.
It's good with
None
glasses.
of us could be pilots.
I'm ready. I'm going down. I will go down with this ship.
Plane. Oh,
This
no.
plane.
Okay, I read 3 months. It could have been 5 months, whatever. Timelines, ignore timelines in this case.
Cool. Time
We're
is an
doing-
illusion anyway.
we're
Who
doing
fucking
our best.
cares?
Yep.
So, to her instructors, Nadine acted like studying for her pilot's license was a hobby that she just happened to become interested in for no particular reason.
Yeah.
Love
Don't
that.
ask any follow-up questions. We're good.
This story should have raised red flags from the beginning, as getting a private pilot's license in the 80s in France was both super uncommon and very expensive. But no authorities seem to be tracking Nadine in her free time, and she managed to register for the course using a fake name. It was the
Good
80s.
for her. Good for her.
Okay.
So she began frequenting a helicopter rental company in southern Paris, which charged 2,200 francs, roughly $315 per hour for helicopter rentals.
Dang.
And she
We're in
always
the wrong business.
and she always paid in cash, which should have been another red flag, but they just chose to ignore it. And also it was the 80s, so I feel like cash was more common.
Yeah, cash is king.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as they're getting their money, what do they
Right.
care?
So she would do that like twice a month for a few months, renting this helicopter and kind of getting used to it.
Mm-hmm.
Have we picked up on what's uplifting yet?
I mean, she's gonna fly this. She's gonna bust him out in a plane.
It's a
That was the
helicopter.
Oh,
That was a hella great joke. Thank
wow. Okay, yeah, great, good job.
you.
It is uplifting.
Yes, very much so.
So, in the days leading up to the planned escape, in addition to practicing her helicopter flying skills, Nadine also purchased a toy pistol, which she spray painted black, and several oranges or possibly nectarines, which she painted green to look like grenades.
You know what? I'm here for it.
There are so many arts and crafts in
Yeah,
this.
this
case.
has Baby Bell level artistry, and I love it.
Really creative.
Really stunning.
So the plan was to fly the helicopter to the prison roof and use the fake weapons to threaten the guards and stop them from opening fire while her husband joined her in the chopper.
Makes sense. Completely tracked.
Get to the
Again, I
chopper.
don't see how anything could possibly go wrong here.
I'm so invested in this.
I know, isn't it great?
Yes.
For his part, Michel had also been prepping for the escape by figuring out how he could get himself to the roof unnoticed by guards by 10 a.m. on the appointed day. To do this, he enlisted the help of an accomplice, a fellow prisoner named Pierre Hernandez, who was also doing time for armed robbery. The deal was that if Pierre could help Michel reach the roof, then the helicopter would pick them both up and they could both escape.
Okay.
It's a good deal.
Doesn't hurt to get a buddy system.
So I don't super know how they got to the roof. There are conflicting stories. One of them said that it involved like an expandable fishing rod that she had already deposited somewhere on the
seems-
prison grounds for them. I don't really know.
Seems messy, but okay.
Somehow they get to the roof. Okay.
Great. A chemistry occurs.
Yeah.
They get to the roof.
They get to the roof. And witnesses would later testify an Alouette 2 helicopter. So, like, that's just the name of the, like,
Jolty
Alouette.
Alouette.
Ooh, baby Belle.
Baby
The
Belle.
Wet, I help you escape. Flew up to the prison and
Baby Belle creme fraiche.
Things
Hovered-
are looking up.
Compliment.
oh my god. Flew to the prison and hovered over the roof at 10:30 a.m. So they just had to chill for 30 minutes.
She's late.
Of course she's fucking late.
She's
She's
French.
late with McDonald's.
Yeah, she's French. Did she have McDonald's?
Was she late with McDonald's?
She's in the drive-through in the helicopter.
Yeah, traffic's crazy.
Her hair is still wet and unbrushed. That would be me trying to help anybody escape prison.
This is diet. This is diet. I did regular.
No. Can you fix it?
I slept past my alarm.
I am so sorry. Oh my God, this never happens. I
I'm never
swear to God.
asking you to help me escape from prison. You'd sleep till 3
I'm
p.m.
quite prompt. I am quite prompt. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
because I have
You're
very
down
high
early.
anxiety. Yeah, it's a problem. Well, not necessarily early. I'm either a half hour early out of anxiety or right on time. There is no,
Mandy's not running late.
no. Mandy's too scared.
So Nadine from the helicopter flung down a rope and Michelle, dressed in a running suit, managed to climb into the aircraft. But the guards were closing in by the time Pierre started to climb, so they left him behind.
No, they fucking did not.
The assholes.
Oh my God.
She only got
First of
enough
all-
McD's for 2 of them.
Yeah, first of all, I get it. Like, I get it.
Oh,
I'm
I'd
not-
cut that cord so fast.
Yeah,
She doesn't know him.
No. You gotta look out for number one.
Yeah.
You
I
brought
don't know
a
you.
friend.
Yeah,
we did not
rude.
talk about this.
Yeah.
The
There is
weight of
not
this
enough room.
helicopter
Yeah.
cannot sustain.
Oh my God. Oh, are you here for me? I can't hear you. Bye.
No.
Thanks for
So-
help. Bye. Oh, no.
Waving down the row
Oh,
in
no.
the wind.
So it seems that the painted oranges fulfilled their intended purpose as the guards. Isn't it amazing?
I forgot about the oranges.
They were nectarines.
First of all, just get avocados. Like, what are you doing?
Oh, right.
Second of all,
They're not round enough. They have to look like grenades.
yeah, but I
Grenades
feel like
are
grenades are
oblong.
kind of pear-shaped.
Yeah, I don't know.
Pear-shaped.
The
How many
guard-
fucking fruits do we want to involve in this?
Okay, everybody get a different fruit, line it up, paint it black, see which one looks more like a grenade.
A yuzu pear.
The guards hung back when they saw them and didn't open fire on the helicopter.
Well, yeah, they don't want to get blown up by oranges.
I bet they felt like real assholes afterwards.
It's so stupid.
And the Baby Bell cheese.
Yeah.
Every plan has been flawed. I can't believe this is real.
I know.
It sounds like a bad movie.
I know.
Like a really
It sounds
bad
like
movie.
a Mark Wahlberg
No,
movie.
like, why
Yeah.
is Zach Galifianakis playing the friend Michelle? Like, in this movie, fucking Kristen Wiig is flying the helicopter.
Oh my
John
God.
C. Reilly is hanging down to reach for
Can
his
we
arm.
write this
Yeah,
and
we're
send
brilliant.
it to them? Oh my
It
God.
writes itself. All we gotta do is
Trademark,
cast it.
Patent.
Yeah, trademark. That's how it works legally.
Copyright.
It's ours. Copyright. Registered trademark.
Bankruptcy!
I declare.
Okay. So other sources state that actually Michelle and Pierre created the fake grenades in prison, and then that's what helped them get to the roof. I don't know what is true.
Whatever it is, it's
Whatever it is,
fucking
it worked.
genius.
It happened,
Whatever it is, it
and
worked.
it worked.
Holy shit.
Okay, so although no shots were fired,
Wow.
this whole thing done without the use of any guns or weapons.
God bless.
Nadine was repeatedly warned via radio that she was flying in a restricted zone and needed to land her aircraft immediately.
Okay. That's
but
risky.
it's literally over central Paris, so nobody wants to shoot it down.
All right. Very smart.
You know,
Very smart.
like if it had been over just like countryside fields, I think I would have shot her down.
You're blown up.
100%.
You're gone.
But this is
She
literally over like the fucking the fucking Eiffel Tower in the Louvre.
I'm obsessed. I am obsessed.
This is
The greatest
to be a film.
This is the greatest drama ever written. I love it.
So she ignored the radio calls and flew away from the roof to make a landing on a university soccer field nearby, where an accomplice getaway driver was waiting to evacuate her and Michelle from the scene. They had a lot of friends.
What foodstuffs did this person dress up as?
What a good network. This is incredible.
Dressed as a hot dog.
You son of a bitch. I'm in.
Driving a pizza delivery van.
Full-blown heist.
Oh my God. Students who were out sunbathing on the soccer field that day would later describe to police how they saw a man and a woman land a helicopter and then run to a waiting car.
That's a lot to unpack.
I would die so happy.
I know.
If I got to see that.
But by the time the police arrived on the campus, the Vaujours were long gone. Authorities were able to trace the serial number on the abandoned helicopter and discovered that it had been rented from a local airfield. When questioned, the staff at the airfield stated that Nadine had all the necessary licenses and paperwork to rent the chopper, and they had no reason to be suspicious.
We checked.
Don't blame us.
Yeah.
We checked.
This daring escape was actually Michel Vaujours' fourth successful prison escape in his long career as a thief.
Amazing.
Fourth. Couldn't get into all of them.
Oh.
Wow. Wow.
He and Nadine managed to successfully stay on the lam for 4 months, which is especially impressive considering that Michelle was named France's public enemy number 1.
So, like, everyone knew it was looking for this fucker.
Yeah.
Well, and this getaway isn't not going to be on the news.
Oh.
It's super not, like, conspicuous.
It was huge news. And the fact that they remained in Paris and the surrounding area the entire time they were on the lam.
Yeah.
Just fucking
God.
the balls on these two.
Wow.
Well, they're going to get
The
stopped
oranges.
at the border. The oranges.
They
the baby
even
bells.
Holy shit. The
baby bells on these
these
two.
That's
Just
cute. Yeah.
dangling.
That's
Oh.
good. I like that.
They even managed to successfully collect their 2 daughters from Nadine's parents' house, despite the fact that this property was under police surveillance.
Yeah, just swinging by for pickup.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Brought
So
the
they got
chopper
their
today.
kids.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus. I bet
Oh, yeah.
the chief
just
of
got her tuned up. Oh, yeah.
the head police department is just like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Yeah, get it together. Can you imagine being the police chief on the roof, realizing that the green paint is rubbing off and it's an orange?
I'd be like, oh my God.
Son of a bitch.
Or it's a nectarine,
Foiled
and you're like,
again.
why is it so fuzzy?
Oh no.
Merd.
Oh my God. Michelle was eventually caught, though, while robbing a bank.
Well, you gotta get funds. You gotta get funds.
This was his second bank robbery in just 3 days,
Well, sure.
all since the escape, and all, again, within the Paris region.
Oh yeah.
I bet they were having phenomenal sex this entire time.
It's the last time.
Imagine
The
adrenaline.
The adrenaline.
I can
And then they slept
smell
fucking
in the
awesome.
bedroom.
Yeah. Ew.
Oh my God. Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, baby.
Oh my God, they're poor children. Earmuffs. Okay.
Take us back to Nana's house. I don't want to be here anymore.
Just preschool curbside pickup in a chopper.
Wait,
Yeah,
they got
Dad's
it with
here.
the
Oh, yeah.
helicopter?
No.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, the house is under surveillance. They just swing by in the
Okay,
chopper.
I
Dropped the
am-
rope ladder again.
I'm a tiny bit high, but I fully thought you meant in the chopper.
No.
Well, now I'm no longer as
I
invested.
should've
We
just
can
let
write
this
that
dream
into
live for
our
you.
Kristen Wiig
Yeah, thank
vehicle.
you.
We've
film.
got creative license. Yes.
Yep, that's canon now, as
Yeah.
they say.
So Michelle, for these 2 bank robberies, was working with 2 accomplices. And during the first robbery, they managed to escape with about $75,000.
Not a bad haul. Not a
Very-
bad batch.
Very successful. But then during the second one, there was a shootout with police.
Uh-oh.
And Michelle suffered a gunshot wound to the head,
Oh, jeez.
but he survived,
Of course he did.
although it temporarily left him in a coma.
Okay.
Police didn't realize immediately who they had caught until they identified Michelle through fingerprinting while he was in the coma. And then they were like, holy
Dang
shit,
So
this
wait,
is
what?
the helicopter guy.
What year was this?
86.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense.
Nadine was soon tracked down in a town in the Dordogne region and was arrested and brought back to Paris for questioning about the prison break. And I think she served time, but there is not enough info on Nadine on the internets.
Bummer.
Michelle eventually recovered from his coma and was ordered to complete his original 18-year sentence plus additional time for the escape, this time in a maximum security prison.
Okay, yeah. There's no helicopter landing pad accessible to
Yeah.
the inmates at this
No
Yeah.
roof access.
Mm-hmm.
But even despite being held in solitary confinement for much of the time, Michelle was soon up to his old tricks,
Yes.
And
you
made-
can't cage him in.
made another escape attempt, this time aided by a young law student, Jamila, whom he had befriended as a pen pal.
Ladies,
Nadine
stop
did
writing
you
the-
so many favors.
I know. I don't know.
Stop
They had
falling in love with prison weirdos.
Right, at
via,
some point-
via written word.
He and Nadine must have divorced. I don't know how, but like that fucking sucks. She goes to jail for helping you escape,
Yeah.
and
you're
you
hitting
divorce.
on Jamila
Yep.
via letter.
Yep.
Well,
Fucking
she's not
men.
useful to him anymore. She's on the inside. He needs an
know.
outside connection.
So fickle.
It's
But
just
Amanda-
business. It's not personal. Yeah.
You should read that Liz Greenwood book. It's called Love and Lockup or Love Lockdown, maybe. But it's all about people who fall in love with incarcerated individuals.
I will read that.
It's fucking
It's-
crazy.
Sounds interesting.
It's real good.
So Jamila was already kind of an anti-prison activist before she began corresponding with Michelle. Her family is of Algerian descent, and so there was already like lots of complicated feelings about the French legal system because of colonialism and racism. And then also her older brother was sent to prison when she was 14. And so just like seeing what he went through and like the
Yeah.
abuses that he suffered inspired her to pursue a career in law, which is what she was doing when she started writing to Michelle.
Got it.
At some point, Jamila enrolled in a program for law students to enter prisons in order to teach inmates various courses or lessons. And she got a pass to go to the prison that he was in to see a different inmate. But she fudged her entry badge. She forged it and changed it in order to gain access to Michel. And this was kind of amazing because he was in solitary and wasn't supposed to have visitors, but she managed to get in.
Wow.
And that was the first time they met in person.
She's got big
Weird.
baby bells, too.
She does have big baby bells. And she gave some interview where she was like, yeah, I just decided in the moment to do this. But I had been writing to Michel for 2 years.
Right.
It's like, fuck you, bitch.
Yeah.
This was
In
planned.
the moment. Yeah.
It
Don't.
was spontaneous.
It was just, it's like, come on.
Spontaneous prison break.
So later, she copied the escape plan that Nadine had used, borrowing a helicopter.
No, she fucking did not. They did it
Painting
again?
oranges.
I don't know if it was identical, but there was a helicopter.
Oh my
Oops,
god.
They did it again.
Yep.
It
Actually-
kind of worked the first time.
It totally worked the first time.
Yeah,
if
he
he
got
hadn't
out.
robbed a bank,
He'd be gone.
yeah. Didn't work with Jamila. They tried it twice. She got away the first time, then they tried it again.
Wow.
They both got caught.
Yeah, you don't say.
So Jamila was caught and sentenced to 7 years in prison. But bright side, he stuck by her, and she would eventually become his second wife.
Wow, that's true love right there.
I would
You can't
argue
fight
that
true
Nadine
love.
was true love.
Nope. You know what? I don't know.
Whatever.
It doesn't matter if you try
True
to break
love
your
doesn't
man out of
exist.
prison and get a pilot's license, he's still going to leave you for a younger woman.
Yeah, seriously. Always.
Lesson learned.
Fucking wow.
So-
well,
Michel Vaujour was released in 2003 after serving 27 years in prison.
wow.
After his release, he published an autobiography entitled Love Saved Me from Sinking.
Barf.
What a terrible
Nadine.
title.
That's the worst title I've
Well,
ever
all
heard
the
in my
titles are
life.
translated from French.
Still bad.
Yeah, I
Still
don't
bad.
like it.
Nadine
bad.
published a book entitled Girl of the Air,
Wow.
Oh, I like that one better.
which was later adapted into a film,
The drama.
but probably a serious film, and we want to make a brilliant comedy film, so I think it's fine.
We're good. We're covered.
While Michel's second wife, Jamila, published an autobiography entitled The Power of Love.
Oh,
Ish.
the greatest song ever written.
And in 2009, the Vaujour story was turned into an award-winning documentary entitled Ne me libérez pas, je m'en charge, which means don't free me, I've got this.
Wait.
That's what that means. Like, don't liberate me, I'm doing it.
I'm
it's
good.
cool. I'm good.
I don't need your key.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, I'm taking charge of it. Je m'en charge.
Incredible.
Yeah, and that is the story of Michel Vaujour.
That is the craziest shit
Loved
I've
that.
ever fucking heard.
No.
Holy heck.
And I had
Holy
to-
baloney.
I had to dig a little bit to find the baby bell piece, but once I did, my jaw hit my knees.
Yep.
Your job
To
was
the
done.
floor. Yeah,
Yeah.
You did good. I
Nice.
loved that.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you.
was a good one.
Mine's not nearly as fun.
Well, that can't all be uplifting.
Yeah,
Right.
thanks
Oh,
for
yeah.
raising our spirits.
Wow. Great. Well, should we take a little break to hear a word from our sponsors?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I hate to clean. And spring cleaning is really rough because the whole house is all stuffy and I have a really hard time getting motivated to do it. But then once you do it and you open up the windows and you just get rid of some junk that's been taking up space, it just starts to feel so much better. And you gotta do that with your mental space as much as your physical space.
Absolutely. And like
Yeah.
Amanda said with cleaning her physical space, sometimes taking that first step towards getting help or doing the thing can be really scary. But no matter where you are in your mental health journey, talking to a therapist who is trained to help makes a huge difference. Like, it is the best thing you can do for yourself. We talk about self-care a lot on this show, and like the foundation, the bedrock of that has to be therapy. And Talkspace is so great because it takes some of the pressure off of taking that important first step. It is a more flexible, convenient, and affordable way to get high quality mental health care. So once you match with one of their licensed therapists, you can message them anytime through the app. That means from the bathtub, in your pajamas, before you've brushed your teeth, whatever.
Waking up from a nightmare.
Whenever
I've done that.
Whenever you have a moment, because we all have really busy lives. So you message them through the app, or you can schedule a live session if you would prefer some FaceTime with your therapist. And honestly, that's it. Then you're on the therapy train. It's as easy as that. You don't have to drive anywhere, sit in traffic, or do all of the traditional things. And you save money.
Yeah. You really do. And it's honestly just the best to be able to just get things off your chest to your therapist in real time and not let everything stack up like that pile of crap in your house that you also need to clean. This is like routine maintenance for your brain, and it is amazing. So if thoughts and emotions are piling up, a fresh perspective can help you feel better. Match with your dedicated therapist today at Talkspace.com and use promo code GALS during signup to get $100 off your first month. That's $100 off at Talkspace.com with promo code GALS, and treat your brain.
Treat it. Want to know the key to consistent good hair days? Using ingredients that actually benefit your hair.
Who knew?
Wouldn't you know?
Whoa.
Function of Beauty makes hair care products that are 100% customizable, so they are made for your hair, where it's at now, and where you want it to go.
Function of Beauty is the world's first fully customizable hair care that creates individually filled shampoos, conditioners, styling, and treatment formulas based on your hair now and where you want it to go. So as you know, I have a complicated tapestry of hair.
And a lot of it.
And a lot of it. Most of it's not mine. It's long. It's color treated. It's thin. It's dry. It has a lot of needs.
You style it a lot.
I style
Takes
it
heat.
a lot. Yeah, she takes heat. So I need specific shampoos that are going to help me maintain the color, that are going to help nourish and like restore the moisture in my hair, protect the natural oils, all of these things. And Function of Beauty was founded by a dream team of engineers and cosmetic scientists, and each Function of Beauty product is individually designed to be as unique as you are. So if you have a complicated tapestry, this is your spot. Function of Beauty offers over 54 trillion possible formulations. Every one of them is vegan and cruelty-free, and they never use sulfates or parabens. You can also go completely silicone-free. It is the best, and here is how it works. First, you take the quick hair quiz to build your hair profile and select 5 hair goals like lengthen, volumize, oil control, or maybe like moisturizing. And then you can find out, like, does your hair get frizzy in the winter, but it's oily in the summer? No problem. Function formulations are meant to be changed when your needs change. So then you choose your color and your fragrance, or you can go dye and fragrance free.
I love that option. As somebody with sensitive skin, I love that they thought of that.
I know. It's really fabulous. And then you get your freshly filled formula delivered straight to your door. And all you got to do then is prepare for good hair days ahead.
So say goodbye to generic hair care for good today. Go to functionofbeauty.com/gals, GALS, to take your hair goals quiz, and you'll save 25% on your first order. Go to functionofbeauty.com/gals to let them know you heard about it from our show and to get 25% off your first order. That's functionofbeauty.com/gals to take your hair quiz and save 25% on your first order and treat your hair.
Treat it. Are you ready for my case?
Sure.
I'm gonna fuck this up. Okay. This is like a pretty damn famous prison crime, and we'll get to why. But in true Amanda fashion, I knew nothing about this.
Perfect.
So I'm covering it for my own personal education.
We're so French this ep.
Education.
Education.
Christopher Scarver was born July 6th, 1969.
Nice.
There it is. In Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Terrible.
Terrible. I found very little about his early life, but we can be fairly confident it was a bit troubled.
You don't say.
Just a touch. He dropped out of high school for reasons unknown, and as a result, his mother kicked him out of the house. He's out on his own, and he's without like a complete education. He doesn't have any work experience, so his options are super limited. So he decided to enroll in the Youth Conservation Corps program and was taken on as a trainee carpenter. I think they do a lot of like Habitat for Humanity type building projects.
It's like AmeriCorps, kind of.
Yeah. You go build things in communities that need
And you're
things
learning
built.
a skill.
Yep.
Mhm.
And then you often get hired by the program after you complete the program, and then you have
How cool.
consistent income. So this position had promise and potential, and Christopher was assured by his supervisor, Edward Patz, that a full-time position was waiting for him when he completed his training. Unfortunately, before Christopher completed his training, Edward Patz was let go, and with his exit from the company also went Christopher's full-time job offer.
Get it in
Oh.
writing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that sucks.
But I mean,
Been there.
he's a young kid.
Yeah.
He doesn't know.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Christopher had just found out that his girlfriend was also pregnant, so the news that he would not have a job anymore was particularly earth-shattering, and I'm sure you can see where this is going.
Crimes.
Yeah. So on June 1st, it's going in a crimey direction. So on June 1st of 1990, Christopher went into the Conservation Corps office and confronted Steve Lohman, the person who had been hired to replace Edward Patz. He was outraged over the job opportunity being revoked and desperate for money. He demanded money from Steve, who only had $15 in his wallet. Steve handed the money over, but Christopher demanded more. Unable to provide more funds, Christopher shot Steve in the head and killed him.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, Okay.
He then confronted the site manager on duty that day, a man named John Fayen, and he fired additional rounds into Steve's already lifeless body to like prove to John that he was serious about his demand for more money.
That would be fucking terrifying.
So scary. So John went and got the company checkbook and wrote him a check for $3,000. Blanket permission to you to just skip right to getting the company checkbook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any amount.
Just write the check.
You can write any amount on that check.
Yep, we'll figure it out. Just write the check.
You're the
And-
only one with the company checkbook, though.
Well, okay, then this goes to me
Get
and
your personal
Elizabeth.
checkbook out. Write
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
amount. It can
Any
be voided
amount.
later.
Yep. It's all good. So Christopher ran off with the check and the $15, leaving John alive. So John did not get shot.
Okay, John Fran, but Steve is dead.
Yes.
Oh God.
So he didn't get far. Christopher didn't get far before he was picked up for murder and sentenced to life in prison at the Columbia Correctional Institution in Portage, Wisconsin. So he ran off and went to his girlfriend's house, knowing like he fucked up. There was no way he was going to get away with this.
Yeah.
And he just sat on the front steps and basically waited for the police to come
He lost
arrest
it.
him.
He
Yeah,
like
he lost it.
Yeah, there was
It
not
will-
a lot of thought that went into this.
No, and we will get to it because it's even more complicated than that with Christopher.
Okay.
But during his trial, a police officer testified that Christopher, had told the arresting officers he planned to turn himself in because he knew what he did was wrong. Quote, "I don't know what came over me," he told a court-appointed psychiatrist several months after the shooting.
But
I was-
I'm young and desperate and have access to firearms.
Yeah. He says, "I was never in any trouble with the law, never in a fight with anyone." So he began his sentence in 1992. He got a life sentence for murder. And that same year, someone else began their sentence at the same prison. Jeffrey Dahmer.
They're talking
There we
about
go.
Wisconsin in the 90s.
I knew that name sounded familiar. Not Jeffrey
Yep.
Dahmer, the other one.
Right.
I knew that name sounded familiar.
Wait a minute. Ever heard
Rings
of
a
him?
baby bell.
It rings a baby bell. So Jeffrey Dahmer had earned himself 15 consecutive life sentences for his 17 murder convictions, even though he definitely committed more murders than that.
Yeah.
Those are just the convictions he got.
So fucking scary. Okay.
So Jeffrey did not play real nice with others behind bars. And his case had been such a massive news sensation that he was famous before he even walked into prison. Every inmate knew who he was.
Yeah.
Yep. And he was so polarizing among the inmates that he was escorted by a prison guard almost constantly when outside of his cell. And he actually opted for near constant solitary confinement to keep him from being attacked by other inmates.
I was going to say, I feel it would be easier to just stick him in the hole.
Yeah.
And they did. And now I don't feel bad for fucking Jeffrey Dahmer.
No.
But also being openly gay behind bars, like it's already a rough situation due to the intense and complex stigmas of homosexuality in prison culture. On top of the bizarre nature of his crimes with the homosexual like undertones
And just
the
the
cannibalism and pure fame walking into the prison and his very odd social skills.
Yeah.
Like,
And he's not a huge guy.
No, he's like, well, he's tall, but he's lanky. But he's like the ultimate target.
Yeah.
Like neon flashing light. Everybody wants a piece of this motherfucker. So Christopher kept his distance from Jeffrey Dahmer, who would go so far as to fuck with other inmates by making fake limbs out of prison food and like putting ketchup on them like blood and taunting other inmates with the like macabre edible limbs in prison.
God, that is so fucking gross.
Yeah.
More arts and crafts.
Wow.
Right? The arts and crafts.
Did not
in this
know
episode.
that.
Yeah.
Fact.
Oh,
Wow.
This is like an alleged, like inmates have said this.
Right.
But I fucking believe it to be true.
Yeah. I'm going to choose to believe it
I'm
because it's
choosing to believe it.
sensational.
And I also
love it.
read it in like 4 different articles.
Okay.
So,
I've heard it before.
Yeah. So it's also important to note that Christopher is a black man and fellow inmates were fully aware of Dahmer's body count and that he primarily targeted young black men, Hispanic men, and other men of color, which intensified Christopher's apprehension of Dahmer. So Christopher was already like, I'm not going anywhere fucking near this motherfucker.
I don't want to be his
him.
next snack.
Oh,
So
God.
Christopher later in an interview said of Dahmer, quote, he crossed the line with some people, prisoners, prison staff. Some people who are in prison are repentant, but he was not one of them.
Yeah. He's
So
Jeffrey Dahmer.
It's Jeffrey fucking Dahmer. So Dahmer tried to lay low the first year behind bars, and his frequent solitary confinement kept him protected, but he was starting to feel like a caged rat, and like even more so than your average prisoner due to the safety precautions around him. And it's Jeffrey fucking Dahmer.
Yeah.
So he was getting like so restless that he just wanted out of solitary, even though he knew
It was a big risk.
it was a huge risk. So he didn't want to be isolated anymore. And he told his family that he had found Christ, and as a born-again Christian, God had forgiven him. So he didn't care what happened to him in prison, and he knew he was going to die there, either of natural causes or from an attack,
Right.
but that this didn't bother him because heaven would be waiting for him on the other side.
Sure.
Right. And now, whether he even fucking believed this or not, or just like spouted this bullshit to soothe his transition from solitary to like the
And
vulnerabilities
to
of
try
the
to,
prison
and
yard.
he knows the prison guards are reading all his shit and listening to
Absolutely.
all his. So it's probably just a ploy
I
to
think it's
get out of
bullshit.
solitary.
I think
Exactly.
it's bullshit.
Like,
For some
well,
reason, but I don't buy that.
I don't believe it either, but that's between Jeff and his God. Like, there's no way to know. But it didn't take long before inmates were targeting Dahmer. One inmate, Osvaldo Dorothy, slashed his neck with a razor just in plain view of the guards in the prison yard. And like, the guards didn't give a fuck because they also knew who this fucker was and didn't care if he lived or died in prison.
Right.
And he was in solitary for the last year and required like constant fucking
They're sick of
escort.
dealing
I'm sure
with
they
him.
were so sick of him. Yeah.
Right.
So Dahmer survived this attack with only minor injuries, and this attempt on his life did not deter him from wanting to be with the other prisoners. So part of that interaction with other prisoners is like routine prison work detail. So on November 28th, 1994, Christopher Scarver, Jeffrey Dahmer, and convicted murderer Jesse Anderson, who was serving a life sentence for killing his wife, were assigned cleaning duties in the prison gymnasium.
And are they all serving life sentences?
Yes,
So they've got nothing to lose.
correct.
Right.
So for reasons that some believe were intentional to, quote, see what would happen to Dahmer, guards left the 3 inmates alone, unshackled, and unsupervised to do their cleaning tasks.
Ew.
It's in the prison gym, so they're not concerned that they're going to like escape, but
Right.
they are.
But this is just like
They're in a gym with exercise equipment.
it's like a cockfight.
brooms,
It's
mops. They're surrounded by weapons and completely unsupervised.
It's like what they do with gladiators.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that Korean show.
Oh, yeah. With the games?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Squid Game.
Squid Game.
It's basically
Yeah.
Squid Game in a prison.
It's like the
Pretty
one where the
much.
little kids run errands.
Okay.
I think that's
Love that
Japanese.
show.
I don't know.
Precious.
Either way. So at some point, Christopher claimed that either Jesse or Jeffrey poked him in the back with like a broom handle or a mop.
Mm.
He wasn't sure who it was, but when he turned around to face them, the two were laughing and snickering. He described the events in an interview later and said, quote, I turned around and Dahmer and Jesse were kind of laughing under their breath. I looked right into their eyes and I couldn't tell which one had done it.
Okay,
The
that
three-
is fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
So Dahmer is actually the perpetrator here, not the target.
Either Dahmer or Jesse. And Dahmer and this Jesse guy are both white and Christopher is black.
Fun.
Uh-huh. So the three men then split up and Scarver followed Dahmer toward a staff locker room. Scarver grabbed a metal bar from the weight room and confronted Dahmer with a news story about him that he had cut out and had been carrying in his pocket. So Christopher Scarver was definitely like, I think a little obsessed
Yeah.
with Dahmer and like didn't want anything to do with him, but then was also ruminating on the horrible things he had done. And
He
I
already
there's-
hated him.
And there's a lot of issues with psychosis and
There's
mental health
clearly
that we're going to
mental
get
health
to.
that he had already been dealing with given
Yeah.
the nature of his crime.
And the fucking guards knew that like Scarver and Dahmer, like specifically Scarver, like had a thing, like was fucked up over Dahmer.
So do we believe Scarver's part about being poked in the back? Or do
Yes.
Or, okay.
I actually, when I started writing this, I was like, uh-oh, Scarver seems like he might be a little bit of a piece of shit. I didn't know. I was like, oh God. And then the more I'm looking into it and like doing my notes, I was like, okay, obviously I don't want anyone to die, but like I feel really fucking bad for Christopher Scarver. Like at the end of this, a lot of shit went down.
Right.
And everybody fucking lost.
I just mean, like, if he was already so obsessed with Dahmer, do we believe that Dahmer and this other guy provoked him?
I do believe it because of how candid and like open and transparent he is about how everything that went down.
Okay.
So it's like he's already serving a life sentence for murder. He's gonna get another one now or at least we'll get to it. So it's like he doesn't have anything to lose or gain
By lying.
by lying, and he gives pretty gruesome details of what went down. So it's like, why would you be honest about all of that and not about what tipped off the fight, and rather just be like, I had my chance. I was alone with him.
Right.
I thought he was disgusting. I confronted him and I killed him.
Okay.
You know, like it seems to me that if that were the planned sequence of events, I think he would say that.
Okay.
That's just the vibe I get, but obviously I'm not in his head. I don't know.
Okay.
He also probably didn't even know that he was on this cleaning duty and with whom until he was in that situation.
I don't think they were regularly put together. I couldn't read anything that alluded to the fact that this was like routine to be in this trio.
Okay.
And it also seemed kind of like wild in the news, like that they were left unattended. So there's just like a lot that feels to me like people were being used for like sick Hunger Games
Right.
entertainment
Yep.
by prison guards.
Yeah. Oh, it's so fucking gross.
Knowing the fucking underlying like issues and traumas.
Or even if the prison guards weren't trying to be like entertained by them, if they just, were supposed to be guarding them, but went and took a cigarette break.
Exactly.
They were it was negligence, and they should
There's
be
a lot of
culpable.
nuance and a lot of accountability that can be doled out to a lot of people in this
Right.
case.
Right.
It's just not, this is so not at all as black and white, in
Right.
that sense of the term as I usually like to pick because I don't love to think about things. So they split up.
Who does?
Exactly. No one does.
I hate critical thinking.
I soups hate it. So he pulled out the newspaper article and he says, quote, I asked him if he did those things because I was fiercely disgusted. He was shocked. Yes, he was, Scarver said. He started looking for the door pretty quick. I blocked him. Scarver said, with 2 swings of the bar, Scarver crushed Dahmer's skull. He ended up dead. I put his head down, he said. He then casually crossed the gym and entered a locker room where Jesse Anderson, at the time 37, was cleaning in the bathrooms. Quote, he stopped for a second and looked around. He was looking to see if any officials were there, and there were none. Pretty much the same thing happened, got his head put out, Scarver said. Scarver said of Anderson, who was serving a life term for killing his wife in 1992. Scarver believes it was no accident that he ended up alone with Dahmer, since the prison officials knew he hated the madman and they wanted him dead.
Okay.
Quote, they had something to do with what took place. Yes, says Scarver, noting that the guards disappeared just before he clobbered Dahmer with a 20-inch, 5-pound metal bar. So it's like the weightlifting bar that you add the round weights to. So that thing is fucking formidable.
Well, he killed both of them?
Mm-hmm.
Why did he kill the other guy?
We'll get to it. But Scarver refused to elaborate out of fear for his own safety. So he's like, yes, I think that the guards intentionally left, but I don't want to say much more because
I'm still
I'm still in here. Yeah. He said, quote, I would need a good attorney to ensure there would not be any retaliation by Wisconsin officials or to get me out of any type of retaliatory position they would put me in, Scarver said. So he hits both of them multiple times over the head. He returned to his cell and a guard asked him why he had returned early from work detail. And at the same time, Jesse and Jeffrey were being discovered in the gym and the prison went into lockdown. Jeffrey was taken to a nearby hospital but was pronounced dead when he arrived. And Jesse was put on life support for 2 days before life support was removed and he was also declared dead. So they both died.
So why do you have sympathy for this guy who killed 3 people? And
I mean, I don't have sympathy for him fucking bashing in people's heads.
Right.
But I do feel bad for the string of this man's circumstances.
Right.
And he's a human being. And I think he was set up to do exactly what...
He was given this opportunity.
Yes. And guards knew his issues. And I think he was revved up and kind of set up.
I think that's what
I think is going on. That's why I feel bad for him.
I think the guards were also kind of banking on somebody doing this at some point.
And it had taken over a year. And they were finally just like, I don't know, put him in the gym with this guy who's obsessed with him and it'll get done.
So I do think that he was a little bit set up to basically execute Jeffrey Dahmer, and they don't care about the other motherfucker that's in there with him because he's also serving a life sentence for murder. So these guards don't give a fuck.
Could have been either one of them. They're both violent.
Easily. Exactly. So at Christopher Scarver's trial, his mental health was called into question, but he was deemed sane to stand trial despite conflicting psychiatrist evaluations. During his testimony, he mentioned that God guided him to attack Jeffrey and Jesse and the individual that he originally killed, which landed him in prison.
Yeah, his boss.
But because he says that God guided him to attack Jeffrey and Jesse because of the atrocities they committed against black men, Dahmer making them a target of his depraved MO, and Jesse trying to frame 2 black men for the murder of his wife, even going as far as to stab himself to make it look like they had been attacked by intruders and saying that she died in the attack and just being like, it was 2 black guys who broke into my house.
So the guards might have known that Scarver hated this Jesse Anderson guy too.
Probably. I just really feel like a lot of things had to very specifically align for these 3 men to be on work detail together and then left alone in the arguably the most dangerous part of the fucking prison.
Right. That or the kitchen.
Yeah, with access to all the weapons.
Yeah.
It's just something is ratting in Denmark, let me tell you. Something's not right. So yeah, Christopher said that he heard voices. There was a family of voices in his head, including a woman, a man, a little girl, and a boy that had told him, quote, everything was going to be all right and it was meant to happen like this. They told him, he said, that I'm the chosen one.
Okay.
And this was going on prior to the first murder.
Was he diagnosed with schizophrenia? Or?
In prison, I'm not sure what his diagnosis was, but he was prescribed antipsychotics while in prison. He had regular psychiatric evaluation while in prison. So it is not a secret that his mental health is suffering.
Yeah.
And has been the entire time. I mean, they did an evaluation for his first trial to see if he was sane enough to stand trial. So like, this is a history and it's well known in this case. He also claimed that certain foods would trigger psychotic episodes like refined sugars. He said, quote, certain foods I eat cause me to have a psychotic break. Adding bread, refined sugar, and those are the main culprits, which like
that's
maybe
all you're going to eat
and that's
prison.
all you're getting in prison. Your diet's not going to help if you're already struggling.
Also, they've done studies where like children sometimes with minor or major behavioral issues can have triggers like red food dye, like things like that. It's real.
Yeah, for sure. According to court testimony, Christopher had been hearing the voices since before his attack of his former supervisor, and that these voices continued in prison. He told a prison psychiatrist that he did not want to go to a mental hospital because the doctors would turn him into, quote, a vegetable, and that the voices told him to go to prison instead. Scarver initially pleaded not guilty of the prison murders by reason of insanity, but later changed his plea to no contest in exchange for being moved to a federal prison instead of serving out his life sentences in a state penitentiary. So he is currently at a federal prison in Colorado and maintains a website for publishing his poetry and sharing his experiences in prison.
Do not write to him.
Yeah, you don't need to do that.
You don't need to become a pen pal.
You do not.
There are other ways to fight for prison reform that won't get you sucked into a weird personal drama.
Yeah. Well, the Tinder is easier. He also keeps in touch with his son, Chris Jr., and encourages him to be strong and not follow his path in life. He was recently blogging a lot about the impact of COVID-19 on prisoners. I was like so fascinated by his website, but it hasn't been updated in a little while now, so I don't know what he's up to. But I'll just finish this out with one of Christopher's poems.
Okay.
Because, why not?
Yeah.
So this is titled Unplugged. Drugged and unplugged from the American dream, rotten and forgotten, feeling forced to scheme. In each of these cells, there's a separate hell, and each bears a tale of a nation that failed.
Oh.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. I like the heavy-handedness.
Yeah. Oh, they're all extremely heavy-handed.
Really overwrought.
Right. But also,
that's a joke from Parks and Rec that I absolutely love.
Oh.
That show's so good. But also, like, he basically has spent, well, now the vast majority of his life behind bars. So it's like, of course it's going to be heavy-handed. These are your only experiences.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, it's kind of wild. He went into prison when he was like, what, in his early to mid-20s?
Obviously,
God.
People who commit crimes like this have these mental health issues and they deserve treatment. But at the same time, like with this guy, doesn't sound like there were a lot of like warning signs or red flags. And so it's like kind of hard to imagine how, besides not having access to a firearm, how him going to prison could have been prevented.
I know. It's really interesting because, he has...
But these two other murders could have been prevented and should have been prevented by prison guards because that's literally their job.
I just really feel like it was
set up.
It really feels like
he still did it.
He still did it.
Yeah.
And he got 2 additional murder convictions. I am not saying this man should be released from prison.
Yeah.
I am not saying that he gets to skirt accountability. But that's what I mean when I say this is like a little bit more nuanced than I thought it was going to be.
It's the same thing. It's like he had the motivation, but society gave him the means.
The tools. Yep, exactly. Precisely.
In and out of prison.
Mm-hmm.
And it boiled down to money and racism.
I didn't know that Jeffrey Dahmer was murdered in prison.
I'm
going to be honest, because I don't spend a lot of time.
Did you think he was still alive?
No, I didn't think he was still alive.
I didn't think about it.
I knew he died in prison. I thought he died by suicide. I didn't realize he was murdered.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just never thought about it. I'm not good at memorizing facts about famous killers, except for,
Me either.
I guess,
I'm not good at memorizing anything.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think I just really like Jeffrey Dahmer. That came out wrong. I have been fascinated by Jeffrey Dahmer's shit. Yeah. So I think I've Googled it a couple times.
Right. Oh, yeah. Right. Oh, yeah.
Well,
are you ready for my joke?
Oh, God.
Yes.
I got to pull it up again. Okay. The policeman says, "You're going to prison for forgery." And the guy slides him a $37 bill and says, "What about now?"
$30 bill.
37.
$37 bill.
That was funny.
I thought it was funny.
Nice. All right.
I like
Well,
it.
special thanks this week to our fan picker, Dally Hewitt, and your
Thank
your
ya.
cool dad.
Such a cool dad. He's not a regular dad. He's a cool
I
dad.
found another one I have
Oh,
to say.
God. Here's a dad joke for your cool dad.
Why do you do this?
Recently, I've started teaching a poetry class in a maximum security prison. It's a tough job, but I enjoy it. It has its pros and cons.
That one's funnier if you read it. That one's more of a written joke.
Pros.
Because like PROSE.
And you just read a poem.
And cons.
And a con.
Okay.
Convicts.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
We'll see you next week when you're still laughing about those jokes.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Wine and Crime. Our cover art is by Kala Yip, music by Phil Young and Corey Wendell, editing by Jonathan Camp. Check out our website and blog at wineandcrimepodcast.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Wine and Crime Pod. If you have questions, answers, or recommendations to share, email us at wineandcrimepodcast@gmail.com. Episodes are available on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, basically wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And if you like the show, please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. It is the best way to spread the word. If you'd like to show your support, visit our Patreon page to keep this podcast and the wine flowing. Cheers.